my name is YolanDa Brown. I am a musician and broadcaster. I think there was a direct connection. As soon as I picked up the saxophone, I knew that that was my voice. Before that, I'd played the piano, the drums, the violin from a very young age, and everything I had to play on, to book a room or make sure I was at home to play the piano or the drum kit. And as soon as I picked up the saxophone, I was using my breath. There was an instant connection there, and I never looked back. I grew up in a household that played such a range of music, so we had classical, funk, jazz, pop, and so when I make my own music, it's very hard for me to pinpoint an exact genre, or I have all of those influences come in. I think for this particular album, for Love, Politics, War, being a mix of reggae, jazz and soul, Monty Alexander is a great inspiration in that right, where he has the jazz but that Jamaican heritage always comes through. Bob Marley is always a huge inspiration of mine in terms of message and how his music appeals to everybody. I think those are my main two. For saxophone would be Kenny Garrett. I just love his style of improvisation, and Sting has been my biggest inspiration, just from the fact of number one, being in a group, and then to the type of music that he makes. And I think that him as an artist sees no boundaries. It's not about genre. I think he's just done an album with Shaggy, which is very random considering his whole musical journey, and I love the people he's collaborated with and what he brings to the music. The Saxophone Festival, it finally happened. For me, it was 4 years in the making, every year on my proposal changing just the year, but I just wanted people to enjoy the saxophone the way that I do. It wasn't about genre, but it's just such a soulful instrument. It's such a sort of vocal instrument, and I sign CDs at the end of every show, and people say, I love the saxophone, I wish I had a chance to play it. And so we had a saxophone village where people would come play the saxophone for the first time, or speak to different brands. All of the saxophone brands were there, and you'd have a 6-year-old queuing up to play the saxophone for the first time, and being shown how to make his mouth and play the note. And then you'd have a connoisseur who's been playing for years playing the newest model of saxophone, and it was just wonderful, exploring mouthpieces, reeds, and then of course we had the music. Lots of different artists across all genres playing across London. We had Pizza Express, we had electronic music, we had through to the Vortex, we had free jazz, and then at Cadogan Hall our sort of staple big finale, which was Casey Benjamin from Robert Glasper Experiment and Bob Reynolds from Snarky Puppy, and just seeing it all come together was great. Had concerts for babies and young families through to workshops as well, and I just wanted everybody to be able to enjoy the saxophone the way I do. I've just finished filming my own CBeebies show called YolanDa's Band Jam, and I play the sax. I have a fantastic house band, and we have special guests playing different instruments coming in for each episode. So we had the harmonica, sitar, the guitar played in a very interesting percussive way, Newton Faulkner. We had of course the traditional instruments, violin, piano, drums, and just being able to see how that artist interacts with the instrument, how it works. And of course, great live music for 60 young children in the audience to jump up and down to. And I learned so much, the children in the audience learned so much, and I can't wait for it to come on screen. Before the show came about, I was writing a range of children's books. I'm a mum and I have a 4-year-old, and I just wondered, how would I explain to her where I'm going when I'm on tour? And so this young saxophonist like myself and her band going on tour, playing with different people around the world, different styles of music, overcoming different challenges, be it confidence or how to write a song or collaborating with somebody. And then I got to meet CBeebies, and it all kind of fell into place really, really well. But I just love how the younger generation are getting an insight into what it means to be a musician. I'm so excited to be the chair of youth music, 8 months into the job now, and just to be able to give back I think is really important. As we're all on our journey, it's so important to give back, and I never knew that it would happen now. Being a chair of a charity was always something I thought would come later, but I was approached. I was on tour with Billy Ocean and got an email through from a company that said they would love to see my CV. As a musician, you say, CV, what is that? But I was able to tell them about all the charities I've worked with and the different ways that I've been engaging with music education, and to be able to go into an interview and just speak your mind, what I see of the charity and where it can go. And I'm just so honoured to be a part of it. Youth Music is a fantastic charity that funds organisations that help young people make music, but from challenging circumstances. So whether it be disabilities, through to not having access, through to rehabilitation, there's so many amazing ways to make music, and I think in our traditional system it's not always covered. And our motto is that every single child in England has the right to make music, and 75,000 children, 350 organisations later, this is true. I think it's really important that you don't have to wait to be a multimillionaire or finished your journey to give back. I think as you're on your journey, to be able to give is such a blessing, you know, and actually you get a lot back from it too. So whether I'm on tour, whatever city I'm in, I would always do a workshop there, and you know, just to be in touch with somebody that wants to know. If they have a question, I'm here to answer, you know. And I think it is important, because there are so many people that are watching your journey or want to ask a question. I think it's important to be available. Is it easy? It's not always easy, but I find that to be able to offer something to somebody means that you will get back. And I do this through, as I say, workshops, through my charity work, being in music education, offering the festival. I think it's important. My musical journey was very sort of unorthodox. You know, I play based on improvisation. I play what I feel. I wasn't taught the instrument in a way of going to university. I was going to be a management scientist. So this whole journey is a very interesting one, and I just love the freedom that music has given me to be able to make the music I want to make, play to audiences and communicate in that way. So I love going into workshops or meeting people, if it be a one-to-one session or if it's a workshop, and saying, let's put the book down. And you know, you always get this horrified look of, oh my goodness, how am I going to play this instrument without the notes? But then just to be able to explore, make different sounds, tell yourself that every note is a right note is such a liberating feeling. And so I've been commissioned to write a book on that, and to share more of the experience and how to let go. I think we're living in a time where everything is so urgent and it's now, but there has to be a time where you exhale and just make a sound. And I think everybody has the freedom to do that. And my album is called Love, Politics, War, and it's kind of birthed out of the idea that we all have to go through this in life and the times that we're living in. So the world needs love, and you see amazing acts of kindness and charity, from the Grenfell Towers coming down and overly giving, you know, the way that the community came together, through to the amazing time in politics that we've had, be it Brexit, be it presidential elections over in the USA, and again with war, living in a different time of war. It's a war on terror. You know, we've had horrible situations even here in London, and just to know that, you know, you leave your house or going to the airport and there's that little tingle of fear that we have now, which is very different to what we learnt about war, World War I, World War II. But then again, love in life, you know, our family relationships that we have, the politics that we have, basically in family and work as well, and then the battles, the internal battles that we all face. And so I really wanted to sort of sum up those emotions in music. Obviously, as a musician, I don't have words all the time, and so it's nice for people to understand where I'm playing from and what the inspiration is behind the sound. So I recorded the album here at the Smokehouse Studios, and also the producer was Rick Leon James, so we worked in his studio too with the writing and putting some of the tracks down. So it was such a great experience and very free, actually. I think the writing is always kind of the interesting phase of an album, because that's where the music is sort of birthed and you know the sound that you want. And I went to Rick, and he was so great in understanding what I wanted to say with the album, but also the genre that I was trying to work in. I went to him to say, I want a mix of reggae, jazz and soul. For me, that is my natural rhythm. Reggae is my heritage. My parents are from Jamaica, and so whenever we go into a reggae segment in an improvisation or in a song, I felt free on stage, and I also saw that the audience moved more and was enjoying it more, so I knew I wanted that. Soul for me is what I grew up with, you know, soul music and just the heart of the music. And then jazz is my freedom, it's my inspiration, it's my improvisation as well. And so I really wanted to be able to have the music be free and open for when we take it on the road. And Rick was amazing. He understood that. He really worked with me and, you know, helped to build and craft this genre that we've built. collaborating on the album as well. Flow Assist from Flowetry. We have John Cleary from New Orleans, originally from the UK, a great, and I met him in New Orleans when we were out there, and just hearing about, you know, the neutral ground in New Orleans where people could come and just be free, and having his piano playing and jazz on there was amazing. Keon Harold on trumpet, Raheem DeVaughn, a fantastic soul voice, and so be able to collaborate with people, bring them in, it's a wonderful process. To be able to record my sax parts in one place, which I know a lot of musicians would be used to it, you know, sometimes you're all over the place, but to be able to be situated in one place, I set up a sort of a mini den here in Smokehouse, and you know, I love that the room is so big as well. I think miking the saxophone is so interesting. When I play to myself, if it's in my studio at home or in a rehearsal space, you have a big open room, and I always want to capture that on the record. And so to be able to have, you know, a mic just out in the room taking the ambience, you've got a mic coming from the bell and also another mic by the keys, and being able to mix all of those sounds together in the mixing and mastering process, for me opened up the saxophone a lot more, and I was really sort of enjoying that experience of working with the saxophone and how we captured the sound. And also to feel free. If you've seen me on stage, I move around a lot and sometimes it's very different. I have a cordless mic on stage, but being in the studio and having to stand in front of a microphone waiting for the red light to come on, it's a totally different experience, and I love that I had that freedom. I could move as much as I wanted to, and I knew that I was going to be picked up wherever I played. Recording the different instruments for the album was, I loved being sort of fly on the wall, or being able to put my 2 pence in as well. And you know, from traditionally recording drums and guitars is fine, but you know, having even the horn section in the room together, and knowing that there's going to be bleed between the instruments, and but actually I like that. And when you come to mixing, sometimes you're thinking, oh, I wish that we could have contained that a bit more, especially between the horn sounds. But actually I just loved how raw it was. I just loved how we're just capturing the sound. What they played is what made it to the record, and I think that live element is really, really important. I think we have great technology now with, you know, Pro Tools and Logic and all the different things that we have in the production arena. But to be able to capture live and put it on the record, there's still little nuances that I think the audience enjoy hearing. And so yeah, sometimes we just have to leave them on there, which I like. This year I'm celebrating 10 years in music, and it's been great having the world tour, celebrating at the Royal Festival Hall for my headline show, and of course the CBV show that's coming out. So please get onto my website yolandabrown.co.uk to find out more. Get the children in front of the TV, and I think you'll all enjoy it too. So check out the website.